Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of DevTalks, where we talk about everything engineering and technology with your host Travian. It's been a minute. It's been a while. I haven't been home in a few weeks for part of the time. I was also waiting for Apple Showcase because I really wanted to talk about that. And then I was just really organizing a lot of my notes and things about that and trying to get more information on different things, planning more projects and stuff. And then also, I was just doing this consistently. Part of me also feel like I needed a little bit of a break as well too, because I'm about to go into overdrive when it comes to editing and everything like that. I'm looking for products and things, and possibly, just possibly, maybe moving to video. So yes, you heard it here first and everything, but I just want to say thank you if anybody stayed tuned, if anybody found the channel within that little break period, everybody who supports and everything, and just keep on supporting because this episode is going to be a big one. There's so much to talk about, so much has happened, and I want to let you guys know my thoughts, and I want to know your thoughts about this showcase that, in my opinion, topped Google's. So without further ado, let's dive in and really get into the details of this new Apple showcase. Now, so much has started. This episode may get very long. The showcase was very long and they covered so much, and I want to be able to go through everything in the order. That's kind of the path that I'm going to try to go into. But we'll see how that goes. I want to go over my own thoughts on certain stuff, the main things I'm really excited about, and stuff way beyond that. And this was a long showcase. I, I'm I'm not gonna be like the showcase announcers and stuff. They actually did a really good job presenting all their products and things like that throughout the whole presentation. It kept me engaged. I wanted to learn more. I was very interested, and it really piqued my interest. And that it was like so amazing. And one of the things that I learned about myself after watching this event, the WWDC for 23, is that I want to go to one of these events live. I seen some people were able to get the chance to go there live. I want to be able to go there live, report on some of the stuff, see what they have in person, get that first look there. I don't want to just watch videos on it. I want to actually be there and figure out what it takes to do that and like be able to do that. So like that's I feel like that would be so great, so cool to do and awesome. Hope that I'm able to grow in that kind of way, in that pathway. So yeah, I'm really excited. If I ever get to do that part, I'll be very excited. Who knows? Hopefully, I grow enough that I can go to WWDC 24. We don't know. I hope so. I hope I can go to things like this. They seem like fun. It seems interesting. I bet you get to meet a lot of cool people there and really just be able to network and things like that. So, yeah, I know they're probably awesome there, but the first thing is that I just wanted to get out is that I wanted to be able to attend one of these events. But now for the products. There's been a lot of hype about this new M2 chip, and I've heard so much about it even before the event and things like that, and how much better it's going to be, and how cool it is, and this, and that, and all this other information going about this product. But here's the thing. I'm getting the MacBook, the 15-inch MacBook. Yes, yes. I'm gonna get into details onto why later on in the episode, but I'm gonna get it. The 15-inch. They came out a 15-inch M2 MacBook Air, and I honestly, it's great. So just to dive into what this new laptop contains, it's one of the thinnest 15-inch laptops. You really got to look at their language that they've used here. They really try to sell you on the products at these events, like really sell you, tell you what they're great at. They never tell you what they're not good at. and things like that, of course, but they really tell you what they're the best at. Like being having the thinnest 15-inch laptop, easily be carryable to carry it around, put it anywhere, things like that. Works beautifully. It doesn't take up a whole bunch of space and clutter. You can keep it somewhere. It's has mag charging. It has a few Thunderbolt ports, but the big thing that I've seen, it has a headphone jack. Now, some people be like, "Why do we need headphone jacks anytime now? We don't need them anymore." Some of the MacBooks did come without headphone jacks. A lot of places and things aren't even making headphone jacks anymore. My phone doesn't even have headphone jacks anymore, and I have an iPhone. So that that I was amazed. I was actually stunned when I seen that. And to be more surprised about a headphone jacked over anything else in the aux port is actually surprising. That was a real surprise. But continuing on, there's gonna come out in four colors. The two that I'm most likely gonna be leaning around is either the Midnight or Starlight. They were talking about the new ones and things and the new colors or the colors that they can come in now. And I seen the two of those looks, and they actually look quite lovely. It's not that typical Mac Air kind of like space gray steel light. You know what I'm the color that Apple uses, the default color and things. It kind of seems very brand new and kind of unique. And I like certain stuff like that. I like to show my personality in my tech and things like that. My PC, like the lights inside my PC, show part of my personality, the colors that I have inside of them, and things like that. So that one of those two colors is most likely going to be the one that I pick up. Um, as far as more information on this product, 18 hours of battery life. It's 12 times faster than their Intel stuff products and the Intel chip. There's 2 terabytes of storage. Has a universal clipboard, or yeah, yeah, that's definitely what they said. I had to make sure that there's this application for the universal clipboard that I seen on the event. It seemed pretty cool. I put it down as one of my notes and things like that. It might be something that I mess around with and use. Or it just seemed like a really good feature and stuff. So that's another thing that popped out. Then we go to like really the pricing and stuff. So the price for the 15-inch is gonna start at 12.99. I seen the one for like the double storage and memory and whatnot would be like 18.99. I don't feel like I need that. I'm gonna get to the purpose of why I'm getting a MacBook finally, besides for work. Um, a little later on, after we get to one of the last review at the end, but I believe that one would be just enough for me. That one would be fine. But they also have the M2 now for the 13-inch. That one would be 10.99, and then you can also get the M1 13-inch for 9.99. So basically the older chip in there. Then they also have more news about the M2 chips. So little did you know they can make them better, just like their iPhones. How they have like say the iPhone 14, then you have the iPhone Max and the iPhone Pro. Guess what? They have the M2 Pro and the M2 Max as well too. So they really like one thing I noticed as I get through covering this event, they went over so many different kinds of chips that they use in their products, and it's almost genius on how they probably do this and how they use each chip for different purposes and things like that. It's I'm honestly stunned half the time. But I seen that, and then there's more. There's just so much more. Heard hearing stuff about these chip updates. Like I was kept writing down notes, and then it's like, hey, we're at the R1, or I believe that's what it's called. That's we'll get into that much later too. But that that was one of the things that I was really stunned in and stuff. So that was great. Next product that they went over was the Mac Studio for a whopping 19.99 to start. I've never actually seen one like being used really. I don't really see anybody with Mac desktops and whatnot. I know people do use them. A lot of companies probably use them and things like that for depending on what they're trying to do, movie studios and stuff. They were showing us examples like how Disney may use it or some of these other places. But I really haven't seen the studio used much, but it did look cool. It did look cool. I have a PC, but one thing that Apple makes a point of is that your Intel chips are not as good as their M chips. So somebody should put it to the test. They say it's faster. I really want to see a side by side difference. Apple, if you hear me, show us a side by side difference between your M2 chips and your M1 chips versus the Intel chips. We want to see that it's 12 times faster. Please and thank you. I want to see those tests or I'm going to test it myself. Thanks. But yeah, so moving on to the Mac Studio. So like how I was saying that there's more chips and stuff. So the Mac Studio uses the M2 Max, which it pretty much increases the performance of the Mac Studio 25%. They said based off of the old versions and things. Then they also have news for the next chip, the M2 Ultra. So the M2 Ultra is basically two M2 chips, M2 Max chips, let me be specific, put together. And apparently there was an M1 Ultra too. I didn't know about this. This is something that I actually learned recently. I wasn't really diving too much into Apple, and obviously I haven't been watching some of their other events too closely because I just started this podcast, and this podcast is to help me learn. And I'm learning. I'm learning what the purpose of these things are for. I'm able to explain the product uses, why I need this certain object for or product for this specific task and things. So I'm learning. I'm learning. It's really digging into my memory on how to get to it all. But they're saying it can support six of their display screens. This Mac Studio, so you can have six of those expensive screens and desktops all across your table, and that one can support it apparently. So that's supposed to be how great the Ultra will bump it up. So instead of just having an M2 Max in there, if you get the Ultra, it bumps up it way more, the performance way more, and all the good stuff. And the connectivity, this is another thing that I noticed that they are very proud about. Apple is very proud about how much things you can connect to their products. How many of their products can you connect to their other products? How many other displays can you connect? How many different devices can you connect? How many different other freaking tools or whatever you can connect, or systems, softwares, whatever, charging, Bluetooth, whatever, like whatever you can connect to it. They're very proud of their connectivity and the type of stuff that you can connect to their devices. And I seen the images; they look good. Wish you guys see my face, but once when we get to a certain point, I promise you I will bring this to video. Uh, let's hit a goal, 500 subscribers. I bring this to video, easy, easy goal. But but yeah, they are very into their connectivity and they boasted about it a lot. I should go back and count how many times they brought up connectivity for their products, and I believe it was easily 10 times. Easily. So if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments, but I believe that's true. It's somewhere around that range. I don't want to guarantee it. I'm not going to place no bets on it or no money, but I think it is true. If it is true, or if I'm very close, please drop a subscribe and like. Thank you. But yeah, going going back to the next thing, is the Mac Pro. So this this is their, oh my gosh. So when I seen these the first time, you know how expensive Mac Pros are? It they are outrageous. Like the starting prices and stuff like that. Like I really wondered who uses these products. Who uses the Mac Pros? I I always used to look up on Apple website and like make the most expensive Mac Pro and see how much it would cost and be like, who really uses this? Who buys this? And funny enough, they showed examples in the actual event of people who use them and why they use them and stuff and why they have Mac Pros. And I was stunned, but at the same time, I sat there and I was like, they make a good amount of money. So, and I can see why they would use this, but no average person should have a Mac Pro. I think this was mainly for companies and stuff or businesses. But if you're an individual with a Mac Pro, what are you doing in your house? You must have a million monitors or something like that, and you're hacking the government. You must be, because that is, I some of those prices is too stunned like I'm really too stunned to speak. Like let's just get on to what they said about this. First off, with the new chips and stuff, starts at $6,999. Exactly why I say no personal person should have this for personal use, or unless you're doing something very crazy, you have some really tough project and whatnot. But hey, and just like how I said about the Mac Studio, guess what they also boasted about on this? More connectivity. They were talking about how they added way more ports to it. Like for example, the six PCI slots as well too that they added inside um the the Mac Pro. So they were just talking about that, all the Thunder ports that they added in there. I believe they said they doubled it, the number that you can have. And apparently you can stream a shit ton of live streams at once. And yeah, like I believe it was 22 8K live streams that you can have up on the screen at once. That's and one thing that I really didn't understand from that is if this is the $7,000 version that can stream that many, or if it's another version. But they had that. They also went through using the M2 Ultras inside of this new device as well too, and they were talking about all the performances and how much it increased and stuff like that. If you guys want me to do a review where I talk about the insides of it and all the performances being added onto, let me know. But I really don't think it's that big of a thing to just talk about all the percentages and just throw them out, especially just sitting here by myself and things like that. I even think if I was had a co-host that we wouldn't get into that. We would get into like what we actually think about this. Like I already told you guys about who should be using this Mac Pros, because $7,000. I mean, PC is enough. Like if you build your own, what are you spending? Under 3 grand, up to 3 grand. Some people spend a lot more, and I am aware of that. But yeah, I this these computers are crazy, and I can see why certain people need them, and I can also see why certain people do not need them. So that's that's enough of that. I don't. I think I only seen these in the Apple store before, but I don't think they are there. It's been a while since I've been to an actual Apple store. I mainly go to Best Buy because I have friends that work there, so it's a lot easier to just get stuff there. And then I also get to see my friends working, so that's a plus. But yeah, I I put my foot down. I don't think I'll ever get one of them unless something like really needed to. If I somehow gained a great need for one. But yeah, next, iOS 17. Now, when I tell you, I was shocked. I was shocked. This might be one of the best iOS updates they have added. Now, before I get into what is in this update, I want to have a disclaimer. I want to let you guys know a little bit about myself as far as me and how I use my iPhone and how I update my iPhones. So, I have an iPhone, and every time an iOS update comes out, I do not get it immediately. I do not update my phone. I sit on it. I sit on the old update for about a few months, like 2 to 3 months for sure, and let all the kinks get ironed out. All the wrinkles and kinks get ironed out of the new update and stuff like that. I am never that person to just go straight into an update. The only way that I get straight into an update is if my phone broke and I needed to get a new phone, and that new phone automatically comes with it. Besides that, no. I'm really not one to really update something and dive really super into it get get the update really fast and things, unless it was like a security thing where we needed to update our phones because of security reasons. Then no, I don't do it. But back to 17. I made that disclaimer because I'm gonna wait less time this time. This time, I'm going to give it about a week. I'm gonna let everybody play around with it. I'm gonna see what the news are like, see what the bugs are like, see what kind of feedback it's getting, how it's affecting my phone, and things like that. Because don't want to do that because I'm actually very excited about this update. It's very like I'm actually very eager to learn and be able to use it. And I want to do a product review or overview of the update. And I'll probably make it a YouTube video on another channel that I'm having the works for myself personally, where we may talk about more tech stuff. And hopefully I have the chance to go over it. So we shall see. But without me getting sidetracked like I always do, the first thing first is that they have these new contact layer layouts slash posters, and honestly, good idea. Did I I see people playing like GTA and stuff, and people can like airdrop their contacts to people and stuff. I never tried airdropping my contact to somebody in real life, but with this, you can just bring up your posters or whatever and bring it next to a person's phone, and then their number goes into your phone. Now imagine like you're trying to get somebody's number or whatever, and it's just a lot easier to just exchange contacts. And you can put on the poster whatever you want to give them, like your emails, your numbers, your own photo, your like all of that, whatever you want your contact to be like. That's how you can send it out, and that's how it's going to be. A lot of people will be able to express themselves however they want to express themselves, give out however like they can do whatever they do. Like now you can share contact photos with people and things like that, but this is at a whole nother level of creativity and fun for people, and also convenience. We live in a day to day, and I was just talking to my grandmother today of the day that I'm recording this right now about how nowadays it's about doing stuff more efficiently and faster. We don't want to waste time. This saves on time. It has a little bit of fun to it. It has a little bit of everything for it. Just this one part. And there's so much more. This update has so much stuff in it. And they also have a kit for the devs to work on the do some dev work for the posters and stuff right now. Uh, I also noticed from this whole event, they bring up all the developer apps and all the different things that devs can work on and try to develop stuff off of their own APIs and things like that, which is very dope, which I'm going to get into later also because I came up with an idea watching this event. And I'm not going to say what the idea is for certain reasons and stuff. I'm going to be doing a lot of research and things like that. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing a lot of that different kinds of research, do a lot of different work as far as this dev stuff. I might be using some of their APIs for certain things. It looks very dope. And then once when I get a working product, I'm gonna be going more into my own space, really. But they actually intrigued me. Having a company intrigue what I believe in and all that kind of stuff is very fun. It's very great. And I've been waiting to work on a project for so long that now I have the chance to, and I'm inspired. And that's just how I am. Like, as a software engineer, I don't want to do dumb projects and things like that. Like, these projects have to have a purpose that I work on. And I've been waiting on a passion project to like hit me that no one's either thought about or already has out or something new and things like that. I'm telling you, months. I've been kind of thinking about something, waiting for the inspiration, and some me wanting to do this podcast and learn more brought me the inspiration. And I'm sidetracking again, but this is just what I'm talking about. Like, this is the point of it. And if I can get inspired off of working off this podcast, I hope that you guys can hear something and hear a thought or a side note and get inspired to work on something as well too yourself, and everything will be great for you. And I hope that it does work out. I hope we all get it. And yeah, so back to going on to the next thing. We now have live voicemails. Another dope thing. House phones, when you probably not everybody remembers, but when you used to get a house call on a house phone, you used to be able to hear somebody leaving a voicemail and while you're in the room after like you missed their call and you could like pick it up and answer. You could do this on your regular phone now. I don't know why this took so long, especially since people stopped using house phones long ago. But being able to hear somebody's voicemail and being able to pick up while they're leaving the voicemail or just hear what they have to say at that time and things like that is one of the greatest things ever because you can see if it's really important, if it's really urgent. You can see the text on your phone if you're very busy and seeing if it's how urgent the thing is and if you have to step out and all this other stuff. It's great, makes life way more convenient, and that is the point of having a company. Your point of a company is to make life more convenient. How can you make something more convenient for your users? And this is why I'm staying with an iPhone and Apple because normally they be on the back end of stuff and be letting Android phones get to all these updates and quality of life stuff before them. And now they're finally doing stuff. They're finally beating Android to the punch on certain things and that I know of and stuff. If I'm wrong, correct me, Android users, please. But they're finally doing it. It's finally great. I believe in it, and I can't wait, which is why I'm only waiting a week to download this. Next, FaceTime messages. Knowing your friend doesn't answer your FaceTime, and a bunch of people were memeing about this, which is hilarious. Now you can leave them a FaceTime message. Yes, FaceTime got its own voicemail box now. And I hope you don't have to set it up because my friend don't answer. Trust and believe he's gonna be getting a FaceTime message because why are you not answering my FaceTime calls? FaceTime calls are very important, man. That's why you need to get them. That's why you need to answer. And that's why you need to figure it out. So now, thank you, Apple, for giving us another fun thing to work with, to play with, and have fun with. Appreciate it. We needed it. Next, messaging. They added so much crap. Oh my gosh. Uh, they added so much stuff to messages. It's not even funny. So first off, they updated the searching filters so that it's easier to search for certain messages and not hard. There's gonna be a catch up button slash arrow to like if you're in a group chat or if somebody sent you so many text messages, you can just push the catch up button to where you left off and it will bring it to where you left off in the message thread so that you can like really see everything. There's another quality of life thing. It's been in a lot of group chats and messaging things, at least on the computer. It's great to have it on the phone now and in a very out of the way place and be useful. So that's another thing that's nice. Audio messages. I remember when they were transcribing FaceTime calls and that was still in beta, but now you can audio messages. Like I might not have my AirPods on me and I want to see what you're talking about. So it just helps more. This update is so awesome. I don't know what anybody else thinks that, but this update is great. It's amazing. It's just great. It's awesome. It's great. It's great. It's awesome. Don't let anybody ever tell you it's not, because this is for real doing its thing, and I'm happy about it. So next is the inline location sharing. So you can just share your location and it'll update while the message is pulled up. You don't have to really click into it. You can see everything right into the message. And then it's a lot clearer. It's a lot better. It works a lot better and goes off of that. But yeah, we still got more to go. Now, next. When I say next, I mean this is actually very good. This is very good. This feature is probably, in my opinion, one of the best top three that they're adding. And it is the check in feature. I say this is one of the best features because I can really relate to using this feature so many times, man. And I can relate to not texting my mom when I get home when she wants me to. So, with a mix of, your parents wanting to know when you make it home safely, or your friends wanting to know if you make it home safely after being out or leaving their house and things like that, they have this new thing called check-in where you can basically send it to whoever you want to make sure that you're all right. They can track and see where you are, where you're located currently. Check-in will notify them if you make it home. It'll make you let them know if you're delayed, if you stop for some strange reason. It'll let them know your cell service. It'll let you know your battery to see if your battery's about to die, things like that. Like, of course, you're sending this to people who you trust and who you want to have your check-in and make sure that you're okay. It's very one of those safety things. When I talked about the Google event, I talked about how Google Maps was going to let you know if these tags and these unknown tags are following you around, and how that is so important to have that kind of safety aspect a part of their software and stuff. That Apple did the same thing, in my opinion. Not exactly with the tags thing, but they did it in this check-in format because now you can really keep in touch with the people who you care about. Not everybody texts you once when you get home. It's just a lot easier to use something like this and have it for the future, and that it can be used to make sure that you're safe, that the people you care about are safe, and everybody's secure. It also might help prevent some violence and stuff because a lot of people nowadays have iPhones and things. And even if this was being able to be used cross platform through different operating systems, like with the Androids and Googles and stuff, that would be so great. That would be one of the best things that is be able to happen to somebody, because at the end of the day, your safety and your people's safety are the best things to worry about, and to actually have that security is great. It's amazing and it's wonderful. So I honestly can't wait for it. I can't wait to have something like that. And I know it's something that I will be using a lot. I am going to be sending my mom the check-in instead of texting her, because I'm going to forget half the time, and she's going to text me anyways to see if I'm okay. And it just saves from the hassle and everything. It saves the hassle for if you want to know if somebody you're dating makes it home safe. It just saves a lot. Like, sometimes things happen if you're out partying all night and you want to make sure your friend who was drunk made it home safe. There you go. You can see if they made it home safe. You can see where they're at. You can see if they're okay. You can see what happened. And I think it'll also help, even if something did happen to you. I think it'll even help the authorities help find you and things like that, and what happened and all that kind of stuff. But Apple does do a good job with, and I'll get more deep into it later, but their privacy aspect, they do a great job with that. And honestly, safety is best thing, one of the best things that they can have. So just for the last thing that they really added to the whole messaging thing, there's a lot of messages and stuff like that that was added recently. They also added this new sticker thing. So instead of like holding onto a message and replying haha or whatever, on the whole message thread, you can just throw a sticker on there, and some of them can be animated and stuff. It's a little goofy, fun thing, bring more personality to text. That's kind of what it is. So people know how you're really feeling and stuff. You can also make photos and videos into stickers. So that's very great. That's very fun. It's very creative and things like that. So, I mean, it'd be so great. I mean, that's really the great things that come out of that. Another thing, just to really wrap up on the whole iOS updates, I'm going to kind of go through them one by one. These next few ones are basically stuff I either already briefly went over, or they're just updates. If you watch the event, then you already know about them mainly. So I'm gonna just go over it a little bit. So first, you can airdrop your contract contacts with phones or watches. Like I said, I don't remember ever being able to do that. And now this is something that's done. I've seen it done in a video game. If it can be done in a video game, it can be done in real life for the most part. I believe if I even see stuff in movies. If I see something, I believe it's possible to do. And no matter what kind of technology it is, that's just how my brain works. If GTA role player people can do airdrop contract tags, we should be able to also. Especially, it doesn't seem like it's hard or not too hard to do. So I mean, that's one of the things. You can share. There's a SharePlay API for devs. SharePlay is also better for the car and stuff. You can SharePlay with other phones in the car that you're driving with and things like that. They also had this new cool thing. No more buying journals. Apple is going to come out with its own journaling app, which is going to give you suggestions on what to write with. But it's going to be called suggestions too. There's a suggestions API and stuff, but it's basically a little journal thing to talk about things that it's gonna list. It's gonna keep track of what you listened to that day, where you might have gone, or things like that. Uh, to really give you suggestions on what you want to write about. But they also have an API for developers on this. As I said, there's an API for a lot of these features that they came out with, and for people to work on dev stuff and really cool projects and stuff like that. There's also the standby. So basically, you can have your phone on while it's charging now, where if you turn it sideways, it will have an always on display. I know a lot of other phones have had this, even just normally faced up. But now, if you're charging and turned sideways, you have this customizable, always on display that you just have. Shows the time, shows alerts, shows pictures, shows reminders, shows a bunch of different stuff that you want to do and want to have. Um, Next is going to be, you can tell Siri to do multiple things at once. So you can say, like, hey Siri, play this song on Apple Music, and then it will do it. And then you can be like, no, 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 no. My Siri heard that and was about to play stuff. But after you tell Siri to do one thing, it will listen a little bit after that. And instead of saying, the two words again, because I don't want my phone to go off again playing music, you could just give it another command and be like, open Instagram or open this app, or set a reminder, or and do stuff like that, which is very helpful. Um, One of another thing that's very great that they added in, and I don't know why certain stuff takes so long, but they have offline maps now where you can keep a portion of the map offline. Certain areas you have very bad service and things. Having a map that you don't need service for is such a wonderful thing, especially if you know how to read maps. So GPS may not help you all the time, service may not help you all the time, but that's it as far as how all of the regular iOS goes for phones. And next we have iPads and smartwatches. So actually, for the iPad, just to get started on their iOS features or operating system features that they're adding to that, they have this actually really cool PDF editor. um, it's actually nice because you can do different kinds of drawing on the PDF and things like that. It makes it a lot easier to edit PDFs. I know I've used editors by Adobe to edit PDFs before and do things like that, but this seems like a way better and easier application to use slash tool to use. It is something that I will test out and see how much better it is, because I don't know about anybody else. It is hard to find an actual editor for PDFs and like you make good edits on them, be able to like actually start editing it the appropriate way and things like that. So there there's a lot going around with that. So I have high hopes. I hope it's good, but yeah, that was pretty much the main like iPad OS update that I think thought was important and really nice and things like that. We also have Mac and like Watch ones too to go over. So for the Mac, they're doing a bunch of updates to the widgets and having widgets on your Mac to make it kind of look give it that tablet phone style. That's how they're messing with the widgets, and then you can also use your phone widgets onto your Mac. So whatever widgets you have on your phone and all of that you can use on your Mac as well too. So that's another plus there. The Mac. So one thing that I seen that was quite amazing is like how Apple's actually taking gaming seriously for once. So the Mac is doing gonna be able to perform a lot better on the games. They're gonna give it this new mode called game mode, which basically lets all your memory and CPU usage when you're on a game go to that one game. Everything in the background is gonna like get allocated in the back, so that your performance is way better when you're playing video games on the Macs, which beautiful. I wonder if you can kind of take that concept or anything. I don't know if Windows has it or has something like it, but I wish I can try to test that out and things like that, because at the end of the day, I do stream too. I've streamed video games occasionally. I'm going to be back into doing that and things once when I fix certain setups and all of that. So I had built my own PC. If I could do it on my own PC and like try to allocate everything to just the game, and so I can get better performance and things like that, then that's something that I'm gonna do and something that I'm interested in as far as that. So that was very very cool to see. And the game that's coming to Mac is like called Death Stranding. I forget if it's Japanese or Korean based gaming company that is building the game, but it seemed very cool, very great. It was very nice to it seemed like a good game to play. Who knows? I really don't like talking about certain stuff too much to saying how great it is unless I've like actually messed with it myself, tested it myself, played it myself and things like that and things that I've used. So I really would prefer to actually use these objects or systems in OS before I talk about how great it is. Maybe I will start another YouTube channel, and once when I'm able to test these things, I can put all of my actual reviews on there besides just giving my hopes of what I would want and my thoughts in like an update news kind of way. But I can do an actual review on things that I can test. Let me know if that's something that you guys want to see. But yeah, that was one of the updates also for Mac. So Mac Gaming Plus. Um, we also have a video call conference kind of thing that they're bringing. So this is going to be for like all the video things. Like their OS is this is how their OS is going to work for FaceTime, Zoom, Teams, WebEx, like all those applications is going to work. This new conference mode thing is going to work on all of them, where you'll be able to like I don't know if you've ever presented before and like you don't want to see yourself there. You can actually make it like a presentation mode where you put your face on your actual slides and things like that, and it looks like a lot cleaner way to actually do presentations and all that kind of stuff. So really excited to see how that's going to change and work. If it makes stuff look more professional, if it uh, engages people and uses more and things like that. Those are all things that are very important in presentations. So really excited to see how that kind of conference call update is going to look on the Mac as well too. One of the things that they're also adding is passkey. So I don't know if anybody else has used LastPass or any of those other password sharing applications. This basically brings it right to Apple. So all your passwords and things you'll be able to store in a passkey, and then you can share these passkeys with certain people. Back into what I was gonna say is throughout this whole presentation and throughout all these OS updates and things like that, Apple talked about their privacy and data encryption and all of that Apple security and your own privacy so much. They after every update and feature, they talked about how it's going to be private for the user, how it's going to be safe for you to use, how Apple doesn't even know about the stuff that you're putting in there because they care about your privacy. They were talking about how they built Safari to and gave it the private browsing because they care about your privacy and all of this stuff. They put privacy right on top of the agenda as far as things that were important. And it looks like they're taking it to another level, but this passkey thing is very helpful. Obviously, you can share things a lot easier with people who need to share it with. Hopefully, it's safe and it won't get hacked in and broken in and stuff. That's another thing. Before I start using it, I'm gonna let it like get tested more and things like that. Make sure it's actually safe and it's notable because even stuff like LastPass can be broken into and stuff. So it is also interesting though that they started this passkey thing, and I thought about like applications like LastPass in this for this example too as one of those options of what gets built or what was similar and stuff like that. This next item is one of the reasons why I say they're always late to stuff, but how they're catching up and maybe be able to top all their competitors like Google and stuff. This, in my opinion, this was a way better event than the Google event. Google event, they ranted about AI. They said it a bunch of times throughout their whole presentation, and I don't feel like they've had as many updates as this and stuff. But this next thing is they're adding profiles in Safari. So just like how in Google, how you can have multiple Gmails and profiles on your Google Chromes and stuff like that. Now you can do it on Safari and have different profiles like for work, for school, for personal use, and you can switch through them very easily. I believe it's on like the top left or something of the Safari on the Macs and things. So that's very cool. It's awesome. I don't know about you having your work profile on your personal computer and stuff, but I like to just keep that kind of stuff separate. Um, but everybody to each your own. Like have it might be your own job, like your own business or something. So you have a work tab for that. So that was really great to see that. Now you can create web applications, which is another dope thing. Instead of bookmarking everything, certain websites that you visit all the time, you can just turn them into like a web app and put it on the dock. another awesome idea. It's like if I can do this on my Windows computer and my PC right now, I would have like 10 web apps because I use certain websites a lot more. And it'll make it a lot easier just to go from your desktop screen to straight to these websites or wherever you need to get to and go to. But it's just another quality of life thing. It seems awesome. It seems great to try. Their private browsing, they said they made it even better. The AirPod Pros, this is almost forgot they had a whole AirPod section about this. It lowers the music slash sounds whenever like the sounds around you, and they use like the machine learning and everything to be able to get this right. But if you start to talk to somebody, like I run into issues where I wear AirPods and I take it out because I'm talking to somebody and I won't be able to hear them. They're saying in this case, the pros, when you start talking to somebody, that your music in your ears would turn down on its own so that you can hear them, but it'll also like tune out that excess noise. So you only hear the person that you're talking to, like all the outside noises, even when you're on the call, even when you're on a phone call, it tunes out all the outside noise so that you can hear your phone calls better and stuff. But if you're talking to somebody directly and not on a phone call, it tunes out the outside noise in your music and whatever is playing in your AirPods. So you can have a conversation a lot easier. Like I said, conveniency is really what's going to sell nowadays. So you just make people's quality of lives better. They're going to use these things. They're going to use these items, and that's just what's going to sell. So give it to Apple for that. They're becoming masterminds in this kind of field of quality of life and convenience now. So can't complain, can you? Uh, the next thing, but I actually seen is actually pretty cool, is the AirPlay they're adding in hotels. I don't know. I didn't hear them say anything about specific hotels that they're going to be doing this in, but now in the hotel TVs that you go to, you're going to be able to AirPlay right off the hotel screens and stuff like that. They're going to have some Apple integration to make it easier to connect to TVs in hotels to play whatever stuff is on your phone and mirror a lot better and stuff. So that is awesome. I want to know what hotels these are. I'll probably end up staying there more because when I end up bringing my Fire Stick or anything to a hotel, I have to go to the front desk and get another remote just to change the input. So I mean, if it makes it better, if it makes my traveling better and things like that, and I'm able to watch what I want a lot easier, then I'm gonna do it. So there you go. On Apple TVs, you can now FaceTime on Apple TV and share play off of it. You can also use Zoom and WebEx later in the year. They're going to be focusing on that and being able to get that done. So that's that was another great thing there. Imagine watching movies with your friends and you're on FaceTime on your Apple TV and you just open up like your Prime account or your Apple TV account or whatever thing you have there and you just share play it and you guys just watch a movie on FaceTime a lot easier on the big screen. You can set your phone down and be able to get the FaceTime because the FaceTime works through your phone. So like you'll be able to answer a FaceTime call on your phone and then move it to your Apple TV, and your Apple TV would use your phone's camera so that they can be able to see you on the from the FaceTime, and so the Apple TV can have a camera accessible to it. It would be kind of cool if they get their own little camera for the Apple TVs, but using your phone is just as great. One of the things that I've also noticed is that Apple's been using a lot of their own products to be able to be way more compatible with each other and do a lot of stuff. I'm going to give another example later with one of the last products that they introduced and the new product that they introduced. I'm sure everybody in the world knows about now. But the top thing was like with their phones being able to like work better with the Apple TVs, for example. It just makes life a lot easier, makes stuff a lot easier to use, and it makes you want to get more Apple products, which is very sneaky on them. If your Apple products are more compatible with each other and you can use them a lot easier and do a lot of stuff and move them between devices. Of course, you're going to get more of those devices to use between them versus other products and stuff like that. So that's dope on their part. Now the watches have a little bit more stuff. They have more widgets. So their widgets are called like a smart stack, to where when you push the or move the dial when you're in a thing, it will like bring up a stack of applications that you can scroll through and use those little app widgets that way. So that was a little fun. My favorite one is this update right here. Top update right here. Recently, in the past year, I've gotten into hiking a lot, and I've used my app. Well, my friends have used apps like All Trails and things like that. Now on Apple Watches, I stopped using Apple Watches for years. I haven't worn an Apple Watch in over 5 years easy. I have the same Gen 1 or Gen 2 Apple Watch that I first got, and it died, and I just never put it on a charger again. This makes me want to get a new one. They have a Trails application that they're bringing for hiking that gives you trail info and stuff like that, to be able to look through your hikes and things, and they'll put it right on your Apple Watch. So now when I go for hikes, they're gonna have trails on here, and it makes it easier to use, and I can track my like workout and do whatever, still jump in the water, do things like that. And it's a lot more convenient than keep on taking out my phone to see which way to go for the trail. It just seems like a bonus, a plus. It makes my life easier in this aspect, and having that Trails app is great. They also did stuff for bikes and things, but another dope thing is they have this motion API for devs, so that you can create applications for the Apple Watches as well too, and basically use the motion in their watch to do a handful of tasks and prompts and stuff like that. So that was great also. Then they also have an emotional feeling to the watch. So like depending on how you're feeling, your watch will tell you how your emotions are, and like basically give you feedback on it too. Another thing is for, I believe this is for iPads and maybe watches as well too. I believe it's mainly for iPads. Um, they're doing a screen distance thing for if your screen is too close to your face, it will tell you to back it up, and it won't turn back on until you back the screen away from your face. Awesome idea. Especially for phones, it'll help. It's way better for the eyes. It's way better for your health, and it's better for kids because kids nowadays, especially the ones raised by tablets, will keep the phone screens or tablet screens right in front of their face, and they're very young, and that's not healthy at all. So having something like that where you can't use it until you back it up and keep it at a good distance is great. One of the other things is they have one-on-one labs. This is the last thing, really. This isn't more about the watches anymore and things. These are just the last few operating system updates and stuff. But they have labs with Apple devs for all the dev app developments and stuff. The beta's in July, and this it'll be a lot of these dev apps will be more public in the fall. So it's all great stuff. It's all nice to have. It's all good to use and fun from there. So that's awesome too. And now the final part that we have all been waiting for, the release and the information of Apple's Vision Pro. Remember earlier when I was talking about I came up with an idea and things like that? It's based off the Vision Pro. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to get too much into detail. Uh, I will, whenever I have another channel and things like that, I will promote it to you guys and things like, and all of that other kind of cool jazz. When I get to a certain point, I will start talking about it more. I'll get more in depth with it. I'll update you guys more and see what you guys like and stuff like that. So, and get more feedback off of you guys. If you guys want to be testers, especially if you're listening to this, you probably you're gonna most likely use it because you have an interest that revolves around it. But yeah, this expensive hunk of junk is gonna be something that'll play into my future very heavily, and I'm gonna be taking something very seriously for it. So it's to be continued as far as that. But yeah, so basically just to dive into the Vision Pro, I'm sure everybody's seen the trailers and stuff like that. Mainly, if you haven't, I'm gonna just go through some of the quick stuff that they brought up and they talked about. They are gonna be able, you're gonna be able to scale and move apps anywhere. That means being able to move them in front of your face, wherever you want them to go, move the size of them, bring them closer or farther, I believe. And then one of the things that I think is actually very cool, which but also maybe not as great for if you're like by yourself and you're not really paying attention, is the environments mode where you can block out and adjust. You can adjust it with the crown on the thing, but you can block out everything in the room and basically helps you focus more on what's in front of you versus all the junk in your room and stuff like that. The one good thing is if a person like gets close to you, it will it will let you be able to see them and like kind of move the environment out some and things. And when the person looks at you and if they get closer, they'll be able to get a screen capture of your face. Well, it would make it look like they can see your eyes, but really the Vision Pro when you set it up, it'll take scans of your like eyes and your face, but cuz there's no internal cameras for it to just like clear the thing. It just puts your face there to make it look more interactive with the person because you have to scan it forward, facing forward, and things like that. I mean, everything has its like little flaws and things like that, but it seems cool. It gives you more immersive. It lets people think that you're really engaging with them, even though you could be like you really are because you're able to see them because it moves out like it will blur an image of that person and like bring them into your view in your sight, which is very cool. To scroll you can flick as part of the some of the motions and things like that to your touch fingers like your pointer and thumb to do all the selections and stuff. One of the things that I said that they're allowing their devices to be more compatible with each other. If you turn on a Mac and you look at your Mac, you can bring your Mac display up into the Vision Pro. Awesome idea. It makes it a lot better. You can FaceTime and share play through it. Another dope idea. But I also wonder how the FaceTime is going to work because if there's no internal cameras, how is it seeing you? Which is another thing, unless they're just going to, well, which is what they also said in that too. They were like saying because you scan your face in the beginning, they'll just use the ML and all that stuff from your face scan and put it up there, but it's not really like live. It just takes gestures that you really use a lot and things, and it's basically like an automated thing. So I mean, that's a cool idea, but it's really not you. So imagine you're FaceTiming somebody and it's really you're really not FaceTiming them. I mean, you'll be on the phone with them, but you're really not looking at them. It's basically like a phone call version of you and the computer and the OS and the Vision Pro is making all this actions and things for that and your movements and all the other fun jazz. So that's all great. And then what's next? You can actually record and take video or pictures. You can do all of that stuff and from with the front camera. It seemed like based on the examples that they showed, it seems like it's going to be very good quality, very good frames and things like that. You can watch 3D movies off of it. Awesome idea. You can play video games and you can connect your controllers to that. Another awesome idea. They're collabing with Disney to bring all these other features to it and things, but I feel like this is really expensive. I feel like the Disney thing is just a side thing, like if you let your kids use it and stuff like that. Um, As you guys can see, like it's been a while. I feel like my vocabulary is even slipping a little bit because I haven't been doing this in a few weeks, but I'm working on it. I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get back. Trust and believe. It's glasses compatible, so you can wear your. I paused purposely here because you have no. So I felt this was like one of the most important things. For those who don't know me, I wear glasses or contacts, and normally when I can't wear my glasses anywhere, I put in contacts. And I was actually going to be worried about this feature, but this is glasses compatible. Glasses compatible. It's awesome. That is awesome. A lot of these headsets that they bring out nowadays, they don't care about your glasses. They're not really compatible with your glasses. You can look through your own prescription and keep your glasses on and wear this headset. So it's really built for the nerds and the blind folk. I'm a nerd, so I can say it. But yeah, that was awesome. This next thing that I'm about to tell you, I actually hate 2-hour battery time in use. I get that this new headset is using so much, like so it's just doing so much all the time and things like that. But 2 hours is not enough time. You watch one movie and you're done. Like imagine you watch one movie, you put down your headset for a little bit, you put it back on, then you like try to do something and it just dies. Like you just have to charge it all the time. You really have to charge it all the time. But at the same time, I guess it kind of keeps you from wearing it and like being immersed with it all day and like getting addicted to it to a degree. But I, if you like have some self control, man, I don't want to charge it after every use. That's gonna get annoying. That's why I really don't agree with the 2 hours. I believe it needs to be bumped up a little more. Like at least double it. At least double it. Saves. Then you charge it half as less times. But this comes out in a year, so maybe they will do more updates. They tend to like really uh, shy away from giving details about how some of their products will run and things like that because if this is coming out a year later, there's going to be updates to it, of course. There's going to be some fixes. There's going to be a bunch of different stuff. So we'll see. Another fun fact in the event, they said it had like 23 million pixels for the display so that they can get such an amazing display. And they were, like showed they even showed a presentation of how to like look at of how the pixels worked and like how they were able to incorporate it all into the display so that you can really get that immersion and be able to do all the different kind of stuff and be able to get the look and the feel that it's supposed to have. 23 million sounds like a lot, but it's really great. So it this has two chips in it. Remember a lot earlier when we were talking about the Macs and stuff and all their computer products, this uses the M2 chip, of course, but it also uses the R1 chip, and the R1 chip is for all the real-time sensory processing. So it does all the processing of all the cameras and the senses for the gestures and all of the other things like when it brings the people into view, all of that kind of stuff. That's what this R1 chip is for. It's another new product and things that they patented. So as I said, another chip is added to the list. I believe that makes it the M2, the M2 Pro, M2 Max, M2 Ultra, and the R1. That's five chips, new chips brought that they brought to this new event and that they talked about. But they also mentioned the M1 chip and the M1 Ultra. So that's seven different kind of processing chips that they talked about in this event, which is crazy to if you really think about it. But they really brought out all this to life. This is what they brought out. This is their updates. I already told you guys that it scans your face and to upload your persona for the FaceTimes and things because you can't like do anything about it. Another thing which is amazing is that you can create a spatial app. That's basically any application for the Vision Pro headset. You can create them and start getting into dev testing and stuff like that. So that's a top thing right there. You can use apps like Xcode, Swift UI, Reality Kit, AR Kit, Reality Composer Pro. These are all things that I will be using for my app. And yeah, so just the last few things is about the event that they said really quick is that it uses optic ID, so it uses your iris to sign in, not your face, not thumbtack. It's thumb touch ID. It's really nice to see how far Apple has really gone when it comes to logging into their devices. So that is just very amazing that how like throughout the days and the years they changed the ability to really log into devices and things like that. But also they explained it on how they use the iris to log in. But it's crazy how they can use the iris to log in inside of there, but they can't really get your face capture. Maybe that's something that they'll work on more and be able to like get to eventually. But that was one thing. They were really excited because, as I told you, they talked about the five chips alone in this presentation. They placed 5K patents. They had to do 5,000 patents for this event. That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of updates. That's a lot of product. That's a lot of different stuff that came out. I believe, this was like one of their biggest reveals in such a long time. I've been waiting for Apple to do something new and on their own for the longest, but it's that's a lot. It's one of their biggest times ever, right there. But lastly, how much does this cost? It starts at 3,500. I believe no real personal person, just like the Mac Studio or the not the Studio. It's the big PC part for the Macs and everything. Their Mac Pro that I believe is this isn't much of a personal price. Like a lot of people are building their own PCs for less than $3,000 and stuff, and this is starting at 3,500. It's coming out next year and stuff, so I guess people have time to save for this. I am going to have to buy this because for development reasons and things. I wouldn't. I don't think they can reduce the price too much on this. Maybe they can to make it a little bit more reasonable, but this is really the future. This is where we've come to, and this is just what seems like what's going to happen now. Yeah, but 35, it does sound like a lot. It's not 7,000 like the Mac Pros, but I mean, that's really what we ended up with. That's what we got. And I hope that it's actually a success. I hope in the next year we get more information on it. I would love to test it. Apple or any of you other tech companies, if I can make it to an event and if you invite me, I will go. I will present on it. I will talk about it, talk about what I love, talk about what I don't like. I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm not going to play favorites, but I just want to give out the real to everybody. I want to be honest about how I feel about certain stuff. And then all these products, I want to do actual good reviews on them and things and see where I can be able to take this. There's a lot of growing to go. I wonder how this platform and everything and the community is going to grow in the next year. So I'm really excited. I'm really happy to see what's going to become of everything. And as I said, this event alone made me more interested after watching it. So, and I learned a lot through this event. I learned a lot of how certain stuff works. I got inspired in this event about the Vision Pro and stuff about for the whole development thing. Like I was saying earlier in the episode, I really was looking for some inspiration, and this really got me that inspiration. So that is that's how it is now. So sorry for saying so much, but it's just there's just so much going on this episode. This is gonna be a really long episode. Thank you to everybody who stayed tuned and everything. Hope you didn't get too lost. I hope you enjoyed it. What were your guys' thoughts about it? Every update and product? What do you think is going to come out in the future? What do you have high hopes? Are you guys developing anything for any of these features or products? Have you done it before and stuff? But I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you're being a dev too for any of these Apple applications, don't forget to like, go drop a subscribe because we're going to be here all year long. I'm back into doing the recordings and stuff. This episode will come out a little late, maybe a day late. It'll come out the next day, but this is amazing. This is one of the things that came out that seems so great. It seems wonderful. I can't wait to see what's in store for the future. So, without further ado, stay tuned for the next one. Keep coding, y'all.